We do what we do. Strap in, kid.
Why Star Wars: The Bad Batch is the best animated show in the Star Wars universe. The recent episodes, Identity Crisis and Point of No Return, lead us toward an epic finale.
Now, we get to choose who we want to be.
The Empire's ruthless pursuit of Project Necromancer and Palpatine's return shakes the galaxy, with Clone Force 99 at the center. While some episodes may feel slower or more crucial to the overall story, each adventure and character moment enriches the saga. From the original movies to the sequel trilogy, Star Wars: The Bad Batch leaves its mark on the galaxy far, far away. Join the journey and discover how every episode shapes the destiny of Clone Force 99 and the entire Star Wars universe. In episodes 10 and 11 of The Bad Batch Season 3, we see some serious stuff going down. In episode 10, called Identity Crisis, we meet Dr. Emery Carr, a clone who's not like the others. She's kind of like Omega, but ended up working for the Empire. She's all wrapped up in this Project Necromancer thing, trying to impress her boss, Dr. Hemlock. But when she sees kids being used as test subjects, she starts having second thoughts, unlike Hemlock, who's all in. Emery can't help but feel a connection to these kids and wants to keep them safe. We usually see the Empire as this big, mean machine, but not everyone in it is heartless. Emery's doubts show us that. Episode 10 gives us a break from all the action, but it's just as important as the exciting stuff in Episode 11, Point of No Return. In both Star Wars and The Bad Batch, there's a big theme: redemption. It's all about giving people another chance, forgiving them, and showing love. Remember when Luke Skywalker believed in his dad, Darth Vader, and gave him a shot at doing good? That's what Star Wars is all about. Order 66 made things messy in Star Wars. The clones, like Crosshair, were forced to attack the Jedi because of a chip in their heads. Crosshair thought joining the Empire was the right move, but he later saw it wasn't. He knew he messed up and has been trying to fix things ever since. After Identity Crisis, Emery Carr seems to be on her own journey of redemption. She's grappling with her role in the Empire and doing little things, like giving a toy to a kid in Project Necromancer to make amends. Even though she's part of the Empire, she doesn't agree with everything they do. It just shows that even in a big bad organization like the Empire, there are interesting stories and character changes happening. The Bad Batch isn't just a cool show. It fits right into the Star Wars world. It balances different tones and themes while also fixing some of the problems fans had with the sequel trilogies and prequels. Like, it explains how Palpatine came back in a way that makes sense, and it fills in gaps in the story, like what happened to the clone army and how the stormtroopers came to be. It's like the missing puzzle piece that completes the Star Wars universe. The Bad Batch brings together old and new Star Wars stories and makes it all part of the official Disney canon. It picks up right after the Clone Wars, showing how the Republic fell and the Empire rose. Plus, it introduces characters from Rebels like young Hera Syndulla and her droid Chopper. Even the Mandalorian gets in on the action thanks to the Bad Batch. It's like the glue holding the whole Star Wars universe together. Everyone has their own special piece of Star Wars that they connect with. For some, it's the Clone Wars, while others love Rebels. And then there are those who grew up with the prequels or the Old Republic games. That's what's awesome about Star Wars. There's something for everyone. For us, it's the Bad Batch. Watching the first season with our friends in our living room was a special time. It was our thing, something we did together every week, even when we were moving around. It's the last show we watched together before we headed off to college, so it holds a special place in my heart. The way the Bad Batch is set up adds to its charm. I prefer its 16-episode seasons over shorter ones like Kenobi's 6-episode season. Longer seasons let the story breathe and give characters room to grow, while shorter ones can feel rushed. One thing people gripe with about The Bad Batch is what they call filler episodes. There are episodes that don't seem to push the main story forward. The term filler comes from anime, where episodes are sometimes added just to fill space, and not move the main story along. We'll admit The Bad Batch struggles a bit with setting up big storylines, especially in Season 1. There aren't many multi-episode arcs or clear goals for the whole season. Season 2 is getting better at tying things together though. But we don't think The Bad Batch has a filler episode problem. Even in episodes where the plot is contained to that one episode, it's still building up the characters. Take Season 2, Episode 4, for example. It's all about pod racing, but it helps develop Tech's skills, shows Omega's loyalty, and hints at Sid's betrayal. It might not be the best episode, but it's not filler either. The best parts of Season 2 are the episodes focusing on the Empire. I might be a little biased because they feature my favorite character, Crosshair, but episodes like The Solitary Clone, The Outpost, and Tipping Point really shine. The highlight of the season, and maybe even the whole show, is the two-parter, The Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. It brings back characters from the Clone Wars like Rex and Senator Chuchi, and gives us a clear look at how desperate the clones are and how the Imperial stormtroopers rise up. Palpatine's sneaky moves in the Senate still gives me chills, and it's one of the show's most memorable moments. The series wraps up like Empire Strikes Back, with the Bad Batch split up, hurt, and missing one of its own. Even though the next season will be its last, the Bad Batch has still made its mark. It dives deep into what happens to clones after Order 66 and adds to the Star Wars theme of hope. There are always people fighting for others, always hoping for a brighter tomorrow. The clones' story in Star Wars is a sad one. The Clone Wars showed us their sacrifices, and the Bad Batch continues that, but also shows that clones can find family and get purpose beyond just fighting. We'll have to wait for the next season to see if they get their happy ending. We've been a Star Wars fan for a while, but the Bad Batch really got us hooked. Maybe it was the show's length, or the timing of the first season, or just my love for sad stories, but it's what made me fall in love with Star Wars all over again. The Bad Batch is back for its final season, and it's shaping up to be a big one for the Star Wars universe. In the first few episodes, we find Omega stuck in Imperial custody, and things get intense when we learn just how important she is to the Empire. Turns out, Nala Se has been secretly protecting Omega by messing with her blood samples, so the Empire can't use her for their creepy Project Necromancer. So what's this Project Necromancer all about? Well, it's something the Emperor cooked up to come back from the dead. Remember how he showed up in Rise of Skywalker? After we thought he was toast in Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that's what this is about. It seems like the Empire wants to use it on baby Grogu, too. The Emperor's comeback in The Rise of Skywalker was a big deal, but they didn't really explain it in the movies. The Mandalorian started filling in some of the blanks, and now it looks like the Bad Batch is going to give us even more juicy details. The line between animated and live-action Star Wars is getting blurrier, especially since The Mandalorian started bringing animated characters like Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan Kryze to life. But it wasn't until the Ahsoka show that being a Clone Wars and Rebels expert really paid off. Don't worry though, even if you haven't seen all the animated shows, you can still enjoy the series. But if you do know characters like Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren, you'll get even more out of it. And if you skip the animated shows, you're missing out on some epic Star Wars tales, like Darth Maul's crazy journey from being cut in half to facing off with Obi-Wan on Tatooine, or Kanan Jarrus' life as a Jedi. And even Yaddle, that background character from The Phantom Menace, gets a touching story in animated form. So even though we might get a shortened version of Project Necromancer in a live-action project down the road, the full story is right here in The Bad Batch Season 3. That's why it's a must-watch for any Star Wars fan. Do share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you go. We'll meet you in the next one.